Okay, so we are back for another SOS Brigade discussion. This time we are talking about Full Dive. It's a show adapted from a light novel by the same author as Cautious Hero. I don't think that many people care about Cautious Hero these days, but back when it aired, some people used to talk about it. Not many people know about Full Dive though. It's sort of, I guess it's sort of a SAO parody, but we'll discuss that as well later on. Do you have any thoughts, Fahrenheit, yet?
Hello everyone. It's nice to be here after so long. Well, I thought this anime is just perfect. After the hiatus, there wouldn't be anything more fitting than picking a kind of like shitty anime to talk about. Though I will, I will get into it later. Because I do think this did have like some good moments. It did have some. There was some rays of sunshine um, that came through occasionally. And I don't, have you read some of the negative reviews on the Mal student?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
I thought, I mean, my job is already done for me. I don't have to. I haven't had to think about what's wrong because it's all the work has already been done. But you see, I'm here to do the hard part and try to explain um, why certain things worked in an old way.
Okay.
Um, but anyway, yeah, I'll get to it as we go through the show, I guess.
So I guess first we'd have to explain what the story is about. So it's set in quote unquote real world Japan. The protagonist is a high schooler, and 10 years ago, uh, VR MMOs, virtual reality MMORPGs were popular, but and the quote unquote best MMO which was released was called Kiwame Quest, and it was quote unquote realistic, like you would feel pain um, uh, in real, you would feel pain in the game from in your own body, but obviously people didn't like that. Um, yeah, I suck at introducing shows. Why don't you try, Fahrenheit?
Well, I suck more. Don't worry. Yeah, that's probably yeah. So it's called a full dive game, which means as many like every single one of your senses are used, so like your taste, hearing, touch, sight, So basically, it feels like real life when you're in this game. It's very difficult to tell it apart from reality, apart from like certain like small features, like everyone wears like a tag around their neck, and that's like their title. There's also like a pause screen, which is like the one interface in the whole thing, which is literally just like a button to exit game. I think there's another one where it's where the pro tag where Hiroshi, sorry, where Yuki Hiroshi is asked, are you mentally prepared? And this was when um, he first met
Risa.
Ms. Ms. Arisa, thinking he was going to get lucky. But which is this it's one of the funniest scenes. To be honest, that was very clever. Yeah, but yes, there's two interfaces in the whole game, as far as we know. Um, but the even honestly the best thing about it is if you die, obviously it doesn't kill you. in real life if you die in a game.
It's much
this isn't.
worse than
This
that.
isn't.
It's worse than
No,
that.
no, no. Something much worse happens. You see, your console gets destroyed, and along with the game as well. I believe.
Yes,
And
yeah,
um,
yeah,
which and this is really what caused people to give up on full dive games was this game, right? Because people weren't exactly thrilled about being trolled so hard by the game company. But yeah, I that was one of the funny things.
yeah,
I think you know it kind of obviously it's like stupid, but it is like realistic in in a sense that it's extreme. We can't we can't kill them because that would be too much like SA or it that would be too far and it wouldn't really be funny.
yeah,
What's funnier is you know their console breaking.
yeah, yeah. Basically,
Uh,
some high school kid losing all of his money. Basically, that is very
yeah, I
true.
don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that these consoles are like pretty expensive as well because
Yeah,
they're like yeah.
yeah. The game is around 10,000 yen, I think, which is about $100. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is basically one of the reasons why at first Hero keeps on playing the game. Do you want to explain how Hero? Um, this game has been dead for around 10 years. Barely anyone plays it. Um, we are
oh yeah, oh yeah. We should sorry, we should talk about Hero the man. Hero is a hard done by high school students. He's being picked on by these two boys at school. He has like one friend who's like telling him like don't give your dinner money to these people, but he does. His like sister is like kind of like hates him, but not really. And
yeah, some trauma as well. Yeah,
yeah, and yes, and he has some. He carries with him some very unique trauma, some very unique celebrity related trauma, which I don't, which I don't know. I feel I still kind of feel bad for him.
yeah, and the way that he gets his hands on the game is not. It's not that he goes out and wants to play this shitty game, but
Mm,
rather
yes,
basically the bullies extort some money from him, and he doesn't have any more money to buy the latest, not Final Fantasy, um, VR virtual reality game. So instead, he goes to this shady-looking um, game store where he meets the quote-unquote charming shop clerk Reona Kisaragi, which
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
sounds like Katsuragi uh, from from Eva.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, right. Don't think about it. There were yes. I will say viewers will very quickly understand that there's only two trying things about Kisaragi, but that's
yeah, and
anyway.
she basically this he goes in and he asks for the game for the latest Final Fantasy games, and she straight up tries to gaslight him about how Final Fantasy
Yeah,
games are shit. Like
kind of upsells him.
yeah, yeah, but she doesn't.
Well, yeah, but she also seduces him as well, and of course, as will be the running theme, Hiroshi instantly crumbles to the slight bit of female attention, and
Yeah, I mean,
and ends up paying out for the game.
yeah, but at first he doesn't like. At first he doesn't. I don't think. Does he realize that he's not actually buying the actual game? Um, like the actual
Yeah,
final.
yeah,
He does. So okay, okay. Um, yeah, I only watched it yesterday. I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I finished watching it last week, so certain details may be a bit hazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. He does realize that it's not. But yeah, but at first, like she tries to tell him stuff like, you don't enjoy like the latest because it's like the 19th Final Fantasy game or something. I can't.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's it's a pretty good like scene in a sense. Obviously, it's kind of making it like meta commentary. I mean, it's somewhat indicative of the show itself in a way.
like
So,
she tells him like like you don't really enjoy the latest game, Final Fantasy.
yeah, like you can't, you've been trying to chase the thrill of the first game, but nothing has been able to live up to, how you first felt,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now, and now, you're just a brand slave. She doesn't actually say brand slave, but that's pretty
yeah,
much a gist.
yeah. I mean, I thought that the whole scene was funny, like how she puts the money quickly into the counter, and
Yeah,
yeah, there's a sign about no returns whatsoever for any reason, and she sells it, the game, a 10-year-old game that nobody wants to buy for full price. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, later to be revealed that this game is actually like illegal as well. You can't like she's not really allowed to sell this game, but
is this?
for personal motivation, she sells in this game.
Yeah, I can't remember whether they actually said that it's illegal, but yeah, they basically stopped selling it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think the company that made it had to shut down as well, or something, if I can't remember correctly.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think there were riots. That's what. Yeah, there were riots.
I mean, imagine your console catching fire. I mean, I don't know, I can't remember when this game came out, but I mean, it's not like things like this haven't happened. Like with the Cyberpunk game, they didn't hit brick consoles or something like that when people try to play it. So let's. Hello, can you still hear me?
I can,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just trying to remember, like a gamer rage, like sorry, like a gamer rage stories. I don't like people. I don't know if people really
I don't think people
maybe
actually
no.
protested. No, but
I don't think there's been anything like street violence.
yeah. It's mostly just on the internet, people complaining. That's it.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot of
I wouldn't.
a lot of complaining, but fortunately, no actual real world violence.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in Japan, but okay.
Yeah, I
So
mean, most video game violence is like interpersonal. You like have this like tragic story every few years about like how like a young boy killed his like brother because he was better at him in like Flappy
yeah,
Birds.
but I mean,
Um,
people's consoles getting bricked because of a game. That's not something that hasn't happened since. Yeah,
exactly. In a sense, because people didn't, riot then, now we have to put up with various other injustices. Imagine if, imagine if there was like a Polish riot, for like the release of, of Cyberpunk. Would a Project Red, how would this change things? Would
yeah,
would CD
I
Project
know.
Red be
Yeah,
motivated more or
yeah,
less?
the problem is that gamers will put up with anything. Yeah, that's the problem.
Uh,
So, so what's Kiwama Quest? The next slide. So the word
oh yeah,
Kiwame means extreme, ultimate, or mastery. It's often used to express reaching the highest level of something or thoroughly mastering a skill. And it can be used as a verb, kiwameru, meaning to master, or to investigate thoroughly. And um, I haven't I haven't seen examples, but at least according to ChatGPT, you do see it in games. Um, so Kiwame Quest is a full dive um, virtual reality RPG. So the term full dive, I don't know where it originally came from, but it kind of got popular through SAO. Um, and it's quote unquote realistic. Is it realistic though? Players can feel some pain. Cheat skills are rare, but they do exist. Like, yeah, basically the trick at the end, which the protagonist masters, is based on willpower or something, something vague like that, which sort of contradicts the whole thing about it being,
Well,
yeah, it being realistic.
I've got a theory about this. I've got kind of because I believe let's say the physics of reality are different. Therefore, they're different in the game. It's not the fact that it's anything special about the game. It's literally because this is an anime. Therefore, metaphysically,
Yeah,
he's able to run really fast.
I,
And obviously that's not true, but yeah, like because he gains a speed buff in the game because he's really good at running in real life. Uh,
yeah,
but but in the game it's like it's unrealistic because he can run, incredibly fast. Um faster than he can like see things. For example, at least at the end,
yeah,
which is
he can't always do
not
it.
realistic.
Yeah, at the start he can't do it. And
No,
it's not clear what exactly unlocks the ability, except that it's like willpower, the indomitable human spirit or something, which Kamui
yeah,
tries to.
yeah. It's the power of love.
And apparently it works in real life as well. Maybe in their world. So the uh,
Maybe
you can't.
this is my theory. This is my theory. It would also work in real life. He just has to believe.
So you can't log out during combat and events, which I don't know how that works for safety, but given that the console catches fire when you lose the game anyway, I don't think they care much about safety. I mean, think about it, like, what if your house is on fire or something? Maybe in that case you would be able to log out, I guess. Um, and yeah,
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 I was
the
like
game
that. Yeah,
the
I was
game would
like,
log you out automatically.
what if you have like a heart attack in the game or something? Or should you log out?
I mean, they're talking about installing chips into people's brains now, and I think people will accept it. So who knows? Maybe they will accept this as well. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
oh, sorry, guys, my house is burning down. No way! I must finish this encounter before I deal with it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
basically,
shit.
I mean, but it's not like in all the multiplayer games like MUDs, multi-user dungeons, um,
Yeah.
which were text-based MMORPGs, and maybe some MMORPGs as well. You can't actually log out during combat. If you do log out, then your character remains and gets killed, and all his stuff gets looted. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
and another thing, which is I guess played
Well,
for
I
comedy.
mean,
Yeah,
sorry. We should mention this now, right? Um, there's time is influenced in a weird way, and by weird I mean doesn't make any sense no matter how you look at it. So, so it's both a multiplayer and single player experience at the same time. Um, where if let's say Hiroshi or a hero is going to log out, it will actually pause the game state. So let's say he's talking to Martin, which is the or one of his childhood friends in the game. He could pause their point, and Martin would be frozen in time,
yeah.
and he could then come back to this conversation later at any point. But at the same time, um, every player has a childhood friend character, and they get to choose, but the childhood friend can also interact with the multiplayer elements, as far as we know.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't.
multiple, so at the same time as multiple players being able to act as these characters, there's also different versions of these characters for every player as well. This isn't really, this isn't exactly addressed.
Yeah, it
It's
is
a
not.
bizarre
Yeah, yeah.
contradiction,
I
but
think.
it also makes one ask, how on earth does pausing even work? Like, why are we allowed to pause? You know,
Yeah, you can't pause in an MMORPG normally. Like when there are other players doing stuff, because that's the like if you could pause the game, then the others wouldn't be able to play the game anymore.
everybody everybody has to hit play at the same time.
Yeah,
The
but
yeah,
I guess there's something similar in MMOs called instances. If you have,
yeah, yeah,
which basically
yeah.
means that um, like if there are a lot of players who all want to beat the same boss, um, the obvious and that's obviously going to be a problem. If like because only so many people can farm the boss, basically, which means that there's going to be different copies which exist at the same time of that boss room and the boss, which players can go into, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, for the like world encounters, you have you have Marizia, right? Who's a torturer, right? Presumably she's like a public NPC character, so therefore can be accessed by any player at
I
once. But at the same time, you have the pause function, right? So she can be paused. So I guess you could argue that a instance of her could be created in that moment that only hero could see.
Yeah, yeah, like for example the child, right?
Plus also Rayona as well. But maybe it's like it's some strategic instant baking. It's like a Schrodinger's instance. And so where every NPC is put into like a like quantum superposition, so it can work as both a single and multiplayer game at the same
Yeah,
time. This is
yeah,
a this is how advanced this game is.
yeah. It doesn't really feel like an MMO. I mean, there's only yeah. I think I'm talking about that in the next slide, so I'll keep it until
Mm.
then. So
Oh, sorry.
it's all right. So you can't log out during combat and quote unquote events. Um, and you might even have to wait half an hour for the event to start. As it did when Hiro, before he was tortured, he had to stay in the jail for half an hour in real time. Um, but I guess there was the Martin time event as well, which we'll talk about. So
Yes.
NPCs seem to have a filter which prevents them from hearing or perceiving anything, which points to the fact that there are NPCs. Like the protagonist will and will talk to Riona, will say stuff which should alert them to the fact that this is a game. But they don't question it or hear it. They just don't. The game progress is measured through an obscure system of titles and keywords on the place necklace. Or it's not a necklace; it's more of a pendant, I guess. For example, the Lolita Complex best friend killer, or the best friend killer, the best amicide, stuff like that, which is obviously
Yeah.
played for comedic effect. I think Kamui was something like the never defeated or something like that. Um, and
Yeah. I mean, there was like in the case of Hero, all these titles are as basically as uncharitable as possible. He gets he basically gets called a paedophile for helping a young girl from being attacked by a goblin.
have you heard have you heard of Fable Fantasy? Sorry, Fable Lands by Dave Morris and Jamie Thompson. Um, it's a solo RPG, tabletop RPG kind of thing. Um, I think might be made by a British author because a lot of
Fabled Lands.
Fablelands. It might be made by made by a British author. I'm not sure, but the reason I say that is because it's a game book. I don't know if you have heard of them.
Yeah, like a single player, like about like a role playing game. Yeah, there's loads. Yeah, I heard of these. Loads of it. Loads of these are
Yeah,
in existence.
yeah, and they
But
use
yeah, it sounds
and
like an English name, Dave Morris.
yeah, and
It's awesome.
so the thing about that game, it has also been turned into a video game. You can get the Java version for free if you look for Fablelands Java version. There's also a version on Steam, but
Fabled.
honestly, the Fablelands Java version is better because it's more like the book, except it doesn't have illustrations. But the interesting thing is that in that book, the way
Wow.
that you
Look at this website. Holy moly.
that's how a website should look like. Um,
I
so
agree.
yeah, yeah, but it looks like it's back from the 90s. Basically, it was probably made in the early 2000s, and yeah. But anyway, I guess what's relevant to this is that the way that they measure the progress that you make in the game. So part of the way that they measure it is that you get keywords um, that you have to write, and then when you go back to that, because it's like a choose your own adventure, but it has statistics as well, and you can go to places where
Yeah,
you were already before. So it's sort of like an RPG, all in, but it's all text. Um, and yeah, the one of the
yeah,
ways that they measure the progress is something like the keyword thing, where you gain more and more keywords, and sometimes you have to take away keywords, and it's kind of wonderful because it's like a game and a book. Well, it's a game book. That's the point. But
yes, yes.
it's not like other game books in the sense that, because other games book are like that I've seen are like um like a like a choose your own adventure where you can't go back between different places normally. Like that's one like a one true ending. You have
Yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's like super linear or kind of on rails. Whereas this is a bit more open. You can.
yeah
Yeah, it looks. Honestly, it looks cool. I'm enjoying the like Windows like XP like blue interfaces. It like activates a deep memory within me.
okay. Uh more about Kibame Quest that makes it stuff that quote unquote might make it more realistic is that NPCs who die in the game never come back to life.
They die in
Uh,
real life.
but yeah, that's debatable given the ending. But so the city of so the only place which is explored within this arc within the anime is the city of Ted. Um, but there are a bit which I think covers the first two volumes of the light novel. There's two chapters from volume 3 which have been translated. You can find it on Novel Updates or just search for it. I read the first chapter. Yeah, it's what you expect basically. Hero leaves the town with uh, Alicia and Missouri, so basically. So this yeah, so the whole anime is about them escaping the the starting town in an RPG. And yeah, so let's move to the next slide. Is Kiwami Quest an MMORPG? So there is multiplayer, even though there are only 3 named players in the starting town of the game, including the protagonist. So that's Reona, Genji, and Hiro. There's also 2 other characters which are not there, which are not playing the game. There's this guy called Hiroe Hei, who's like a boxer. Like when when
Yeah, yeah.
yeah
He's the only player to I think have beaten a goblin in a fight,
yeah
and this guy is literally a like Olympic level pro boxer.
and
Um,
yeah And the other guy is Kamui, who's the best player,
Yeah,
and we'll talk about him in other slides.
yeah, the only yeah. We'll talk about him later, I guess. But
Uh,
yeah, I think one thing I will praise this show for is the monsters did seem like a threat.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean we'll get to it. Well, I don't know.
S-
I think I mean there's only one monster I think you encounter he encounters, which are the goblins. Um, there's some I think some of the funniest moments in the show are due to these goblins and and what they do, but or maybe don't do, you know. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole twist was kind of funny as well. That all they're civilized actually. Uh, yeah,
oh yeah, yeah. Then the twist, which I'm pretty yeah. Uh, one of arguably one of the best written parts of the show that were picked. I mean, there was a like whole setup at the kind of start of this show as well, which I thought was pretty good. It was like one of those instances where it was this like higher level of writing when I remembered, oh no, wait, we need to get this thing a plot. But it's like kind of bouncing from one sort of funny scenario to another. It did kind of become somewhat a coherence, even if a lot of the logistics. I mean, logistics are one thing. Um, I didn't really mind so much that it didn't make much sense as like an actual video game. Obviously for the sake of immersion as a viewer, it wasn't great because you're constantly going like, well, hold on, wait a minute. But really, like, I think the heart of this show is is a hero, and his never-ending struggle to be like not completely pathetic. Um, he somewhat succeeds in doing so
yeah.
in the end, but he is ultimately undercut by the fact that he wants to still play anyway. A lot of people had a problem with the ending as well, because it kind of undercuts the whole like development his character went through as well. Um, but yeah, I know I'm kind of going everywhere at the moment, but
I mean, to me, like it kind of made sense more of in the sense that this is a shitty game, so of course it's going to. You can't win it. You have to be like a masochist to keep on playing, basically. Um,
yeah, exactly. Is it a well? I mean, surely it is. Unless it's just being like unless it's like a prank. This is all a prank. It's a prank they're pulling on Hiroshi. Ginji's in on the prank. Riona's in on the prank.
yeah, I mean, imagine if like there was a comedy and the protagonist was Shinji Ikari. That this would be what it would be like, basically.
Imagine the protagonist is a Shinji Ikari, but he's somehow even like more pathetic.
So, so I kind of get the feeling that the author is more has more experience with playing RPGs than MMORPGs, and this is like I get this feeling with Japanese authors in general, who make like a lot of the isekai stuff. I think has I mean there's a few shows which take the MMORPG stuff seriously, like Log Horizon and Sword Art Online, but in most cases, even when like a character like gets reincarnated into a world based on the game, um, it doesn't matter the fact that it's a game, other than the fact that you get stats and numbers. Beyond that,
There's a big emphasis more than anything on the kind of typical like RPG elements. The class of the player. They're like that's
Yeah, there's no
Um,
classes here. There's no classes here. As far I'm
there
aware.
isn't no because well, it's realistic, of course, but
Like your stats are
he does
based on
he does
your real
yeah,
life ability.
like your stats are based off your real life stats. So if you train and get buff in real life, you get buff in the game, which is an interesting way to maybe motivate players to
Yeah,
improving themselves. Though
but it doesn't really
there's
work.
no evidence of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is no evidence of this actually working.
because like the game is a failure because well, like most people like that's what they say in the intro anyway. Like most people don't want games to be realistic. They want to escape reality. So why would they play a game that sucks like real life?
Yeah, exactly. Though I should say, like sort of like loading up the player character with two childhood best friends from the start. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah. Should we talk about Boobs Fairy?
We'll get to her. We'll get to her. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So I guess another thing which makes it weird that this is an MMORPG is that you can beat the game. Basically, because most MMORPGs, as far as I'm aware, like they are built to keep on going and going. But I guess, like they don't have a proper ending. They usually just stop because
Yeah,
people stop playing.
yeah, like MMORPGs are even less about the storytelling in a sense, and it's more about the stats. Because I think because it's digital and it's a computer game. They're not real life pen and paper. There's less of that interpersonal dynamic,
Like
right? So it's always going to be less about immersion in a story.
yeah, yeah. If
Although the story is a story, it's much more about improving your
yeah,
character,
yeah,
like synergies in like a team. What does your raiding party look like on paper in terms of stats, rather than what's the story of each character, and how it is some like bespoke story going to be weaved for these characters, which you would see in a typical RPG, sort of like tabletop setting. Like you just like logistically
yeah,
you just can't do that, so you just have to be like, oh well, there's a boss you fight, and it the terms of the fight are kind of um, produced through these stats. And if you die or
like
not is basically
I guess
if you can button mash fast enough,
yeah,
or if your character stats are good enough as well.
yeah. I guess so. I guess the different like about the the not multi the interpersonal stuff. It's more about between players, whereas here, well, I guess because they have quote unquote the R Revo advanced AI thing or whatever. Yeah, so that's why the NPCs matter. So anyway,
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean the NPCs matter, but at the same time, the NPCs also follow the same path. They would always offer the player the same decision, right? Which is how guides for the game can even exist. Um, One thing I did quite like about the show is that it didn't shy away from like YouTube or whatever the like equivalent is, of finding online
tutorials. Yeah,
guides,
yeah, yeah. That
you know,
yeah,
and some like shithead, the one guy who happened to complete the game and has any kind of semblance of authority on the game is just like absolute shithead,
yeah, yeah. I
and
think
takes a kind of like masochistic like pleasure in kind of like lauding his like little victory. I mean, it's very funny.
yeah, I think this show does something good by because in most shows about like characters going to another world or be it whether it's a fantasy world or like a game world, like the real world doesn't matter anymore after they go to the game world. Whereas here you get to see both, a little bit of both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, like SA sort of gets around it by saying, "Oh, you're all trapped." and if you try to leave, you die.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Which,
they try to in SAO they try to force like some uh I think in season 2 like there's some crime going on in real life and he has to, but it doesn't it's stupid, it doesn't really make any sense. Um and I think as
yeah.
I do like the last season of the Aliciteria arc. That was decent. But anyway, I will talk about SEO as well. So I think my conclusion is that Kiwame Quest is more of a JRPG with optional multiplayer. Unlike SEO, which brings us to the next slide. So is Full Dive an SEO clone, just a parody of SEO? Um, so um, so the biggest difference I felt, as I said, with those animes that things which happen in the real world matter as well. Um, rather like you get to see the character, what the character does in the real world as well. In some ways, you could say that it's a parody of SAO because the whole thing. I mean, they literally
Yeah,
point
yeah,
out like
yeah. I think
the
yeah.
character
I think
thinks
this.
imagines that the console that he might die. Like when Reona tells him, finally reveals to him what happens when he loses the game. If he loses the game, he first worries that he might die.
Mm,
Like, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think it definitely is. Like, it's definitely. But I think really more broadly, it's kind of a it's like a like satire of the kind of like VR like genre, or maybe not. It's not. I mean, it kind of is like isekai, but you still have the like real world connection, right?
yeah,
It kind of is the a kind of broader parody of like VR anime.
and
As many of those that exist.
and
I kind of but yeah, I honestly I want to stress like I'm very it is kind of cool that they didn't shy away from including the real life of the main character, even though his real life is quite similar from the game, which is the whole point. He,
it's
and
realistic.
uh, and, and his real life is quote unquote realistic. Though I will say, Hiroshi is a particularly unlucky as a character. Um, but yeah, but they also integrate aspects of the game into real life. Like what happens with the company? Why are so few players happening? Sorry, why are so few players playing the game? Why is Ginny still playing after like these decades? And why is Riona still playing? They end up explaining things quite well, and it's quite believable. Um, but yeah, and the reasons for these ultimately somehow end up sucking for Hero. Especially Riona's backstory, where it's revealed that she is. I mean, well, you sort of know already, but yeah, Riona is straightforwardly manipulating him to. Uh,
Yeah,
but
we'll
yeah,
talk about that. We'll talk about that. So
yes,
so I guess one thing which I did like about this over SAO is that it's seen like them. You do see it in SAO as well, I think. You do see that like even though it sucks, the protagonist starts to like the game.
I'll tell you how much of SAO I saw. I saw the first two episodes. I got bored, and then I watched a fandom of
Oh yeah, yeah.
SAO.
I know the one you're
So
talking
I
about. Yeah,
don't really know. I don't exactly know the plot, but I kind of also know that I sort of get the gist of what happens.
yeah. So let's move on to the next slide. So we'll finally talk about the protagonist, Hiroshi Yuki.
Yes.
Um, so the question I have is the protagonist. Oh, I think a lot of the reviewers, like and while I
Yes.
was watching the anime as well, I was going through the My Anime List forum, um, which has threads for each episode, and a lot of people were complaining about how Like they wouldn't go back to the game. Why does the is the protagonist retarded? For wanting to go back into the game. Um, so I think these are the reasons why he logged back on. First of all, Reona's boobs. Secondly,
Yes.
sunk cost fallacy about his $100 or 10,000 yen or whatever that he paid for the
Yeah,
game.
I mean his sunk cost fallacy is initially what gets him into the game in the first place. You know, oh well, I've paid 10,000 yen for this piece of shit. I may as well try it out. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and also the fact that he can't get a refund as well. So
yeah,
you know, and yeah, also the connection with his sister. He doesn't like be, but yeah, that's when he kind of does quit briefly. One of the main reasons why he actually goes back is because his sister is like calling him flaky. You know, like he gives up because Hero was a sprinter. You know, sorry, a runner is probably more accurate. I don't know what he does exactly, but he used to run, and so he's still good at running. But after the incident, he doesn't run anymore, which affects his sister Kaide, and so Kaide has this impression of Hero as his quitter. So he goes back and he says, "I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna show you that I can see at least one thing through." And so a big motivation of his is that he's going to at least some try and succeed in the game. Because at least if he can succeed in the game, he can succeed at one thing, you know, and he
yeah.
can show his sister that
I guess
uh,
I guess it's time to talk about his trauma. So
his trauma.
so what happened to poor hero?
I need to I need to find the celebrity guest appearance. Who was that guy? Hold on.
Like
Uh,
some American guy
I
who's
thought
a
he
meme
was like.
basically. Who's
Oh
into
yes, it's Mike McClarken,
yeah, yeah.
right?
That's not a real person,
Um,
is it?
yes. I mean, I'm gonna have a look actually. Hold on. Status alive. He's a sports news writer. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's literally
Uh,
what he is in the yeah, a former you know
apparently in real life he's a chartered marine engineer. Um, I don't think this is the guy. I think he might just be made up.
mhm. Yeah,
um,
but basically he
hold
like
on. Printer. Oh no. He might be real. McLaughlin is surname. Irish. Gaelic. Hold on. No, that's not. That's just a surname. Success. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he's real. Reflect success.
yeah, I think
Sprinter.
if he's still
What does he
like
look like in the anime?
we need to send him this
He's
uh
not blonde.
yeah.
Apparently he's like not blonde. I mean, he sort of is blonde if you look at the image of him. This is what he looks like.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't.
I know it's not Mike. It's in real life. It's Mark. It's Mark McLaughlin.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
So
surprised.
they change his name slightly. This is what he looks like.
Uh,
This is his real life equivalent. At least if this website is to be believed. Yeah, according to in the cycle now .com. This is the real guy it's based off. But yeah, sorry. I go off track. Um,
I guess
so
yeah, maybe the art is into running or something, sports.
maybe. But yeah, in real life, I don't think he's a an Olympist. I think he's just a kind of he's still like a good runner, but he's not on the level he is in the anime. But anyway, so Hero is at school and he's competing in a in a running event, and he wants to win because Mike is here, or Mike is here, and there's a possibility he takes the winner under his wing. So um, yeah, I know. Yeah, yes. Sorry, yeah, Albania Man has just pointed out that this image is obviously photoshopped. Yes, it is. It is obviously photoshopped. So Hero is about to compete in the run, and just before he starts, he kind of gets a bit nervous. He gets the shakes, and the fact that McLaughlin is here, he's being kind of psyched out by his rival, and so they end up running. And initially he's losing. Okay, he's losing because he's not focusing, but during the race he quickly regains focus and he ends up winning. But unfortunately, he pushes himself a little bit too hard, and he falls on his face. The
Yeah, and
shock combined with the fact that he didn't go to the toilet before the race, which is something that's pointed out, means that he unfortunately pisses himself in front of famous sports runner and sports news reporter Mike McLaughlin. Um, in which case, everyone either expresses their disappointment in him or makes fun of him. Um,
yeah, but
in,
yeah,
yeah, go on. Sorry, yeah, you're going to say
yeah,
something.
but so yeah, like he doesn't hear the gun, and he starts running late, and
Uh,
also his sister is watching him too, and
yes, his sister.
yeah,
Yes, his sister.
Kaede, and he goes back, to change or whatever, and there's also that teacher, the PE teacher who's badgering him about at the start of the show, who's badgering him about um, submitting his plans for after he graduates from yeah, I don't know if you remember him, but and
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. He's kind of being a bit pushy,
see, and he,
and
he pretends to care by reading some self-help book, and he reads the title backwards as a joke, whatever. Anyway,
yeah,
and
yeah, he does. I mean, okay, all right. This is my critique moment. This is my critiquing moment. Um, Most of the jokes are good. The problem, and I see a lot of people also say this, is that they keep ragging on the same few jokes all through the show. So,
yeah, the fact that he pierced
um,
himself keeps on coming up, um, because
uh,
yeah, the I guess because he pieces himself in the
yes,
game as well as just like in real life, and yeah,
yeah, he does. I mean, one of the funniest scenes is based around this, where I guess we should. I guess we've explained his trauma. Now we should.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're still on the relevant slides. Come on. Hold on. Is Mazza? No, she's not. She doesn't have dedicated slides. Okay, we might as well mention it now. One of the funny moments is when he first meets the torturer in the town. Um, after he's arrested, I think yeah, he gets framed or stitched up by oh god,
Alicia,
by hold on.
Ali, I think.
It's um it's by oh god,
By the childhood,
yeah,
by the childhood
by
friend.
sorry,
Oh,
by a Ginji.
oh yeah,
So
yeah, by
Ginji,
Kingsley. We talked about that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it causes him to get
that was a
arrested.
funny scene as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one as well. Um, and he ends up in this torture chamber, where this girl called Maurizio is gonna torture him, but he doesn't notice initially. What comes up on his screen is a adult event. Now, of course, Hero being the man he is, assumes that he's about to get lucky with Maurizio. unfortunately, this adult event was really kind of hinting at psychological damage and permanent psychological damage. Um, so Marisia is about to. Oh god, yeah. I mean, it's all coming back to me now. So Marisia is about to cut into Hero, but Hero kind of saves himself or his like digital body or himself from at the very least extreme pain by pissing his pants. This causes Marisia to take a kind of um, pleasure, let's say, in the fact that he pissed himself, and this fact will not escape him for the rest of the runtime of this show, which is somewhat funny, but also I think the joke does get played out quite quickly. But the reason why the torture is stopped is because of a certain Tesla, and his Tesla is the leader of the town guard, and he calls and he basically acquits Hero and of his crimes, saying but of course the reasoning behind this is incredible. Firstly, Hero is arrested really because he killed his child. He killed his childhood best friend, which was oh god, Martin. So he kills Martin, and then he gets called out by Genji, and he gets arrested, right? But Tessera has investigated, and he concludes that the kill Hero made on Martin was so pinpoint accurate that it had to be accidental. Which he also yes. So the fact that Hero didn't use his rusted sword to kill Martin. Instead, he made a pinpoint accurate execution
Yeah,
of Martin.
by sending
Is
a
evidence is evidence enough that the kill was accidental, and therefore he is instantly acquitted of all his crimes, and he ends up walking free. The one downside to this, of course, is that the townspeople, those NPCs, don't agree with this with this decision made by Tesla, which is fair enough, I guess. But yeah, that's I thought that was a really something. I didn't know if that was really if that was intended to be a joke, or if like that was like they thought that was good writing.
yeah. I mean,
I think maybe a bit of both.
it's
It
hard.
wasn't played off as a joke. Interestingly,
Yeah, I mean, like there are some other examples like that. Like for example, like when they are, um, you know, um, I think we'll talk about it later. The mercenary training arc. But
yeah.
let's move on to the next slide. So Reona, so she's
Oh
the
yes, boot.
shop clerk.
Yes, so boot. Yes, boot fairy herself. Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Um.
Test it's like an Holstein cow according to Kamui.
Oh, sorry.
And
Yes.
so do you think she's good as a game advisor, as a helper, or as comedic relief, or fan service
Um.
at least?
I think at the very least fan service. I mean, she would be comic relief if they didn't rag on the same jokes. If they kind of gave her more things to do. I mean, the problem with Ariona is that she isn't very impactful, apart from around the time of the training arc where she causes a lot of trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, she's just sort of there to kind of pester and annoy Hero and and frustrate him.
Yeah, I mean,
And
she does
yeah,
she does give him some. She's not that there at the start like she promised. So that's what leads to Hiro getting into all this mess.
she causes all this.
Yeah,
All this is her fault.
but on the other hand,
Um,
because
yeah, she does. Yeah, I should say she does do things right. And she does point out that there's a online tutorial series that you can follow. She just tells Hero that one person has completed this game, and then she explains certain things like that aren't things like healing potions because that wouldn't be realistic. Of course, you have to heal in game realistically. So she does. She's kind of like a tutorial um as a character, you know.
yeah, and she provides motivation whenever Hiro wants to give up on this shit game.
When Hiro wants to make positive changes to his life, also known as stop playing his game, she's always there to bring him right back in, and she can, will, and has seduced him, um, offering marriage if he's able to beat the game, um,
That's
and
very
sort of
realistic.
implying yes, and yes, the height of realism, and sort of hinting that she's his like girlfriend, but of course she's only going to be his like provisional girlfriend if he keeps playing the game, which is somewhat dark, but also kind of like uh
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, when Hiro finally learns about Reona's love slash revenge quest to find someone else to someone else who cleared Cahill because she can't clear it herself and marry them. He's so disappointed because yeah, basically um, she's she was there 10 years ago, back when Kamui was a high school, and she was too. Um, so let's just
yeah. I mean her whole motivation for basically grooming. I mean, let's be real here. She is kind of grooming Hero to be this like new hero. But her motivation is basically to get back at to get back to get back at Kamui. Though you know from Kamui's point of view, she would just be like this like random. He didn't know her. Um,
yeah,
like you know, I think if Hero completing the game, I don't think really I don't think he would exactly care. I think Kamui has moved on.
yeah,
Um,
but
at
yeah,
this point,
she has not. Reona has not.
but yeah, so Verona has not, and she's kind of on this weird life path, let's say. Um,
Yeah,
though you know the one I guess the one consolidation prize Hero does get is a boop boop at the end. Um,
it was all worth it.
it, it was all it was all yes. Anyway,
Yeah,
even then he was like super zoned out and
yeah.
he didn't even notice. So
He does get
he
a
was like sleeping.
yeah. He does guess. Yeah, he was sleeping. Yeah, he does get a kiss on the cheek by Aliciteria. Not Aliciteria. Alicia. Aliciteria is from Recreators. Uh,
Yes. Man.
yeah, she does get a yeah, just a kiss on the cheek.
He
In
gets he sees minimal action
yeah,
despite it being you know when he gets his kind of like pseudo harem, I guess. I
yeah,
mean it's a correct way, but you know when like one of these guys wants to kill him after he murdered you know after the murder of Martin, the other basically wants to torture him. The other is using him. It's not exactly stellar. In terms, I don't think. I think if Hero wants anything resembling a foursome, he's going to have to play his cards really well. Like I mean, really well. But anyway,
or he's going to have to go for his sister or something.
oh
Um,
god, I'm going this is the Oh god, I hate how like that was being teased as well. Though I thought she was going to be she was going to turn up in the game at some point. You know, maybe she gets curious about what Hero is doing, and so like she turns up in the game to
Yeah,
like investigate.
yeah.
Um,
In
I
volume,
thought that would have been an angle, but I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, and I'm sure they definitely didn't do that later on in the story, right?
yeah.
In the
Well,
light novel.
in the light novel, well, I read the one chapter, and a hero tries
Oh,
to invite her, and she's all like tsundere. No, she's basically she says she won't play the game, but she will. That's what I predict. Um,
oh, I see. Okay.
and then she's going to get jealous of Alice probably when when she logs in. That's what I predict. I can't see those things happening. So yeah, yeah. So the reason why Reona wants revenge from Kamui is because he rejected her. She approached him while Kamui was trying to leave the town of Ted to try to live with him, and and he just makes fun of her tits being too big because everything has a
Yeah,
limit. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Imagine. Well, I mean, some things have a limit.
yeah.
I would argue that that Riona maybe gets close to the limit, but you know, I think most men would be fine
Is it just?
with
Yeah, I think they could forgive that. Um, so
we will forgive this. I mean, I mean, if the comments are anything to go by, half the reason why people stuck with this show in the first place is because of Fiona, and not because of yeah. I guess it was because of Riona's it was because of her personality traits that people stuck with the show
I mean,
after the first episodes,
it's the same
and
with
definitely
Hero,
not
I guess.
because of
That's
anything
yeah,
else, and and because of
that's
Hero
realistic.
is such a
That's also realistic, isn't it? I mean, Hero.
it's such a and the hero is such a enduring and likable character himself that it definitely was not due to the
Yeah,
to anything fan service related.
I did like Hero's voice acting though. Like
Yes, yes, there was some very. I would say the voice actor has some good range.
and by the way, did you know that you read the comments, so you obviously know. But we'll get. I think it's Kamui next. No, it's not. But I'll say it anyway. Kamui is voice acted by the same guy who voice acted Kirito from from SAO.
Mm,
Yeah, so that's kind of
I didn't know that, but yeah, yeah,
uh,
that's pretty funny. Okay.
um yeah. So the next slide is best friend Martin, Time, and childhood friend Fruit Knife Wield from Hell, Alicia, and Alicia's what? Yeah, chopping apples. That was a special move, right? Chopping apples. I don't know how it.
Yeah, yeah, or like a fruit knife slicer or something
Something
like
like that.
that, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
So yeah, I mean, I think people were complaining partly because they expected this to be like to take the premise seriously, and I don't know. Alice and Martin are clearly joke characters. I mean, the whole thing of how Hiro was able to get out of um, well of being guilty by pissing himself. Like, there's no way that he could have known that. So it was it just happened because it was funny, basically. So uh, about Martin and Alicia, they were supposed to be party members for the protagonists. Um, I found the whole Servants crime thing at the start kind of funny. Uh, Basically, it's a crime to leave the town, um, and but but during the intro to the game, um, hero is told that uh, he needs to leave the town of Ted. So yeah, so that's what he tries to do at the start, but it's a crime. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
suck at recapping, but yeah. Um,
yeah. I mean, you also can't leave because of the because of
the goblins,
goblins,
yeah.
you know, and it should be mentioned that goblins are incredibly powerful, you know. So which is what stops most players from ever leaving the starting town. Um, the reason why the goblins are kind of attacking or are antagonistic to players in the first place, of course, is due to the story. Now, again, I don't want to bring this up, but surely after the first player kind of completed the story, um, all players would then be allowed to leave. But this is kind of when the weird kind of the kind of single player multiplayer thing comes up. You kind of have to assume that every player gets their own Tesla. Every player gets their own kind of queen of this town as well.
Govern,
Otherwise, the whole thing doesn't.
yeah. Queen Govern,
Yeah,
yeah.
otherwise, otherwise the whole thing doesn't make any sense, right? Because all it would take is one player to kind of crack the mystery,
And
and
obviously,
that'll kind of be it.
yeah, I mean, obviously one player has already done it because that's how Kamui knows. And that's another thing which
Yeah,
kind of didn't make sense to me, sort of. Because how could Kamui play all of the routes in the game to give a walkthrough of because like on Kamui's website there's options to choose depending on what you did, right? So that means he must have played the game over and over again. Maybe there's an option later on to redo the game. Who knows? Um, I think most players who did leave the town of Ted did it by um, getting in the good books of Tesla and Govern, and by doing some stuff in the town, and then leaving with their permission, so they wouldn't have to kill Tesla. But
yeah, exactly.
on the other hand, Tesla has at least died at least once, because otherwise, how would Kamui be able to provide the guide for what happens? How basically discover. Well, maybe he discovered about what's going on in Ted after he left Ted. Who knows? Anyway, so what did you think of Martin Time? Did you find it funny, or did it get boring as
Um,
well?
I think the killing of him wasn't like funny. I think it was on purpose to kind of traumatize Hero, and to kind of put it across that that this is a realistic simulation. You know, as far as that term can kind of go, and then but also would serve to set up. Oh God, I lost the names again. What am I doing?
Martin? Oh,
It also was kind of groundwork to do this whole thing with Alicia. You know, I think obviously they wanted they thought it wouldn't really be obviously it's not funny just to kill off a likable character, but it is funny if the other friend then becomes murderous and basically like dedicates her life to murdering you in a kind of 180 for the character. Um, but Martin himself is of course a absolute bro. You know, I'd be happy to have Martin as my friend. You
yeah.
know,
Would you have? Yeah. Would you have been able to guess? The words under the camera tree, the promise under, under the camera tree.
probably not because it was an interesting use of English, but um, um, I think myself and Martin. I mean, I wouldn't, of course, if I was playing this game, I don't think I would have killed him in a moment of passion. I probably would have just took the conventional line most players do. Um, but if for whatever reason I did kill Martin, I think we would have resolved things in a similar way.
Yeah, but if you didn't
Um,
kill Martin, you wouldn't get the special Martin sword. Uh, to be
yes, of course.
uh, and what was it? Yeah, I mean,
Maybe if you're min maxing, then you have to kill Martin. It's like a requirement. I wonder, I kind of wondered if like speedrunning would be a thing.
yeah,
If you were speedrunning full dive, because like things are scripted, so like you would be able to do it in a sense. What
yeah,
would you do? Would you like just like run past all the NPCs? You wouldn't ever like even interact with Alicia and Martin. You would like run past them.
yeah,
You
yeah,
would pick up the swords. You would a beeline to like a grindstone or something. Or maybe there's like a maybe you would put
yeah,
but like you would also have to dedicate your like real life to
yeah.
upping a certain skill for the speedrun to be better. So would you have like like League of Speedrunners who want to get good at like thievery, or they want to get good at like sprinting? Like how would this work? I think this would be like a very entertaining avenue to go down. What if there was like a serious speedrunner who was still running the game?
It could be. It could like it could be
What would that
that could
look
come up.
like?
That could come up later on. Who knows? It could
you
be.
know,
Yeah,
um,
somebody who never gave up the game and just kept on playing it.
the one guy who wants to keep his world records, and he's paranoid that someone's going to come along and beat his world
Yeah,
records.
yeah. And maybe that could be a future rival for um, Hero. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sorry, just one more thing on Kamui. It is kind of hinted that he probably did purchase multiple copies of the
yeah,
game,
yeah, yeah, it is.
uh, because otherwise, how would he know that you can kind of you can back up saves,
Yeah, I mean that's what.
or you can
Yeah, at the end, like
yeah.
the protagonist has like a vision while he falls asleep, where he's close to
Yeah.
Kenura 3, and rather than Martin, there's Kamui, who's calling him a worm, and Hiro points out that why you calling me a worm? If you also the fact that you know how to reset the game means that you also had to reset the game. And then he wakes up to the boop or whatever. Um,
Then he gets booped. Yes.
yes.
But I also have a suspicion that there probably is like a wiki of this game
I
written.
I feel like
Uh, so that's a hero is yet to discover, and what a lot of Kamui is doing is kind of referencing broader player knowledge, and he's just sort of putting it into a guide.
yeah. I mean,
But
I feel like this premise has a lot of potential. To be honest.
yeah, it does. I mean, they do like I mean, one thing I'll praise the show for is they kind of do go quite deep into um how we like the sort of ecosystem. Not necessarily. Okay, obviously the game mechanics itself is an absolute disaster. It doesn't make any sense. And it is sort of there for the sake of comedy and the plot. But in terms of all like the real life stuff, all the kind of peripherals that actually like do explore it quite well. I was kind of I was pleasantly surprised when when he like ends up like using a like video guide, because that's like what most people's experience with new games is going to be. Like you're gonna probably at some point have to look up a video guide like on like how to do something if you kind of get into it like quite deeply. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to explore. I mean, of course, but yeah, this brings us to kind of like these central theme, I guess, of the show, which is the juxtaposition between Hero's real life and the game, its similarities and how it's different, and how not only physically but also kind of mentally, um, Hero can kind of benefit from an improvement in one, and so he will then benefit from an improvement in another, right? And yeah, I don't know. It was I mean, it could have been handled better. I mean, I do agree that um this is kind of a 6 out of 10 show because it could have been made a lot more impactful and meaningful. But it is still there, you know. Like you still feel like there's hope for a hero. Sorry, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think there's that aspect, but there's also the aspect of yeah, that is all. Yeah, I mean, and you do see there are other stories like that. I think, for example, Ready Player One is like that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I should say that Ready Player One is one of my least favorites movies of all time. I think I got angry watching that film because it was just like referenced the movie. It was like yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yeah,
yeah,
no, it
yeah. I
was
guess Full Dive beats Ready Player One. Um,
Full Dive does tell a original story. Unlike Ready Player One, which is a kind of it's some derivative in it's pretty much like derivative in every sense of the word. Even down to the like dystopian setting. I mean, like somehow the dystopian setting is even more retarded in Ready Player One than it is in like SAO or in this. You know, where people are on like people look okay in Ready Player One,
yeah,
people are
I know
unironically
what you mean.
treadmills. They're on treadmills, dude. What the fuck is what the fuck is going on? Anyway,
Oh, God. So, yeah, what did you think of the childhood friend character, if anything?
I think she was one beat, unfortunately. She like her character just sort of revolved around this one subversion, basically, and that was her whole character. And
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Do you have a favorite joke regarding her at all?
her.
Yes.
Obviously, it would have to be the breast touching
Yes.
scene where Hero uses all his brain power to try and sort of knock her off base, and she basically tells Hero like, you know, like, do you, well, uh, she firstly, you know, I'm not gonna recreate the sounds, but she kind of does these like fake outs where it's like, oh, you touched me, but then she tells him like, you know, do you really think I'm going to react in that way? Um,
You know,
and then she tries
yeah.
to, but
Do
yeah,
you really think a girl my age hasn't been touched by a man? And yeah,
yes, exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was a good moment. That was kind of around the
Yeah.
points where um that scene was you know the scene where she kind of clashes with Mizurisa, um you know, when Mizurisa is protecting a hero for the sole purpose that she wants to torture him later
Yeah.
in this kind of like half sexual, half kind of like anyway. But yeah, but Mizurisa becomes infatuated with Hero after he peed himself, and the kind of embarrassment, the secondhand embarrassment, pleased her, and she wants to see him for more, which is why she ends up protecting Hero. I mean, but again, you know, this would be funnier, I think, if they didn't run the joke into the ground.
Yeah. And as for Martin, my favorite comedic scene with him was when uh, um, so Alice knocks down Misa, and then she also knocks down she also kicks um, Yuki, and he can't get back up, and she makes fun of him for being so weak or whatever. But when it turns around, it's Martin holding him back down so that at least Alicia can kill him. Well, it was
Hmm.
a lot funny in the anime. So
Yes. Now that you like explain it, isn't it? Yeah. You just you just had to be there, man. You know.
so
um. Yeah. Oh God, I was. What was I going to talk about? Hold on. Oh yeah, one was. What was I
so
going to talk about? I forget. I forget.
were you going to talk about
Oh
something?
well.
No.
Yeah, I was going to mention something, but I forgot. You know what? It doesn't matter. Let's be.
So yeah. So I guess yeah. So let's move on to the next slide. So Genji. So Genji is a middle-aged loser with gout who plays a dead game pretending to be drunk. I don't know. He looks drunk. Maybe he gets drunk before entering the game because apparently the drinks there's
Yeah,
alcohol, but it
they're
tastes
non-alcoholic.
yeah.
Obviously, yeah, the game can't induce a real life drunken stupor in the players.
So if anyone has seen Steins Gate, Genji sort of looks like Daru but older. Um, and he's
Like that, but if he had gout,
yeah.
um,
So Genji also murdered his best friend, just like Hiro, and but he also murdered his childhood friend. And we didn't explain what Martin time is, but it's basically when Martin, who was killed by Hiro, haunts Hiro. So uh, Genji Soul's haunted by the best friend and childhood friend NPCs. And I think he said he killed them out of curiosity, like I don't know, like when you want to kill someone in an NPC in GTA, even though this is more realistic. So um,
I'm
his
so I'm just picturing like GTA NPCs coming back as ghosts. How like how much of like a clusterfuck that would be. Because like I mean, if you ever played a GTA, I mean the only GTA game I played was San Andreas, but NPCs would die for like the stupidest reasons because they just weren't that great. So you would just accumulate like a shit ton of ghosts around the player because the NPCs had like, basically killed themselves. Though I will say like I don't know like all I can say about San Andreas is don't drive on the beaches because you can and will hit someone. Anyway.
yeah, I played Vice City and a bit of San Andreas, but I never beat either of them. So
No. I
I
played
th-
I played with a friend. So yeah,
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 I would say that GTA feels a bit more like this than a RPG in some ways, because GTA is less about stats and more about being able to complete a mission or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So um, I thought that the interaction. So he spends all of his time in the fake casino, trying to I don't know fake yeah playing with fake money or whatever. I'm not sure whether no he wasn't imprisoned at first. No. But yeah, um, Reona suggests that the reason why he logs into this dead game, is because he might feel sorry for having killed the dead NPCs. What do you think? Do you think that's the reason why he keeps on?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's also this idea that he's kind of like he's just sort of using the game as an escape, but or it's kind of like it's just not some procedure. It's kind of like tradition for him. It's kind of in his like his like daily ritual that he logs onto the game, and that's what's kind of been his life. So it's sort of it's like became his real life in a sense. But yeah, I also like imagine like the fact that he has like physical ailments. He
Yeah,
the game does
he has it.
allow him to like move around. I mean,
He has it
if
in
you've
the game as well, though. But
yeah
maybe they hurt less in the game.
yeah,
Uh,
I imagine it would, right? Because the game wouldn't really know he had gout, but if he, if something in the game environment causes him to like move his foot, right, then his gout's gonna act up. I mean, if you've ever had like a foot like problem, like how like awful it is to like move around, like but like gout is like pretty bad. So like maybe that's like a big reason why he still plays the game because he likes walking goods or something.
Yeah. But basically, he's a player who has given up on trying to beat the game, but for some reason can't leave the game either. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I guess we should mention the epic fantasy fights between Yuki and
Uh,
and Genji. Um,
oh yeah, the epic fantasy fight. This is like average like bar brawl.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
On the one hand, Genji can use his superior weight
and brass knuckles.
um,
Yeah, he's,
and brass knuckles. What like boxing class would Genji be in? He'd probably be like heavyweights. He's not very tall as well. So he's kind of like short and round.
yeah.
So
I think
kind of like
yeah,
but so obviously yeah, Yuki is like a teenager and he's not very well built. He's like a skinny teenager. So you have like a fat like gout ridden like guy with brass knuckles try to beat up his teenager. Yeah.
yeah. And even the NPCs and end up calling it a farce. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
just put
In one of the scenes, Alicia ends up splitting them up, calling the whole thing a farce. While of course Genji and the hero are fully engrossed in their bouts. Um,
because it's like this emotional fight after Genji having betrayed uh you know
yeah.
and hero trying to reach an understanding and whatnot. I think, but then yeah, I think the funniest thing with Genji was when like they were like during the goblin attack they were like, oh there's a crime going on in the city. It must be some kind of event which happens at the same time. We need to
Mm,
get to the event boss, the one who's pulling the strings and inciting people to commit crime during this crisis. But it's not actually a game event at all. It was just Genji trying to benefit from the chaos.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes. He decides to loot the. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like fair enough. I mean, if you're going to be if you're going for the rat strats, then it's good to commit all the way and loot people's homes while they're being attacked. But I mean, like Genji, you know, it's literally here on the slides. He essentially commits full crimes to be sent to prison. IRL to get free food and housing.
and he does that in
Uh,
the game as well. Basically,
yes, and
uh,
he does this in the game as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Like when he's sent to jail for basically inciting a crime. Um,
Yeah,
he tells Hiro that well, he has basically just given up on the game, and that he commits crimes in order to be sent to so I don't know, just like in the game basically. So let's move on to the next slide. So Kaede is Yuki's sister, probably a Brokon, as in a brotherhood. Uh, I don't know. Real sisters don't
uh,
care about their brothers that much. So
that's
uh,
not well. That isn't true. I guess. I think if I was screaming most nights in my bedroom, my
oh,
sister would ask about like what was wrong with me at the very least.
yeah, I don't think she would act like all tsundere to you though.
I don't know. I can't say that's ever happened. No.
So
Um,
yeah, Um,
But yeah, there's definitely something. I mean, this of course is a anime. This is a kind of like semi trash like trashy anime. Obviously, there's gonna be some like bit going on with the sister. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
yeah, yeah. Um, so about Misariza, I don't really have anything to say that
um,
she's a sadist pervert that has short
yeah,
fuse.
yeah, again, like one beat, so well, a kind of like single note character.
Yeah,
Though, I am, um, what I will say is that, it is kind of good on them for like going all the way. Like they really take the like sadism to the kind of natural conclusion. During the Goblin invasion, Hero has to go to the toilet. During this time, and this is probably like the funniest like part of the show, and this is like the funniest gag. When he's on the toilet, a goblin comes and pervs on him. He just wants to watch, and yeah, we have a like hilarious like vocalization by the voice actor.
yeah, yeah. We are like, it's like, yeah.
For,
I can't do the voice.
no, don't do it. It's fine. We don't, you don't have to do it. But yeah, it's like yeah. So he gets perved on by a goblin. Of course, the goblin is then killed by Mizurisa. For the sole purpose that she basically wants to do the same thing. She also wants to watch. But
Hero
yeah,
shit
anyway,
himself. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I thought that there was something nice about the relationship between Kaede as well and Hiro as well, because she basically
kind of.
she used to look up
Oh
to
yeah,
she used to look up to her brother, but
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
and
I mean the she she what's the word? She gloats about him to a classmate, and after the incident, she can't do this anymore. Which I mean, it's up for interpretation. You know, is she upset that her brother fell on the floor and pissed himself, or is she really more upset by the fact that
I mean,
it was a hit to her reputation, or
uh,
is it kind of a mixture of both? You know?
yeah, I mean, she seems kind of worried for him. Like, uh, I thought she was worried for him. So, like, she comes to look at him, um, when he spends, like, he gets some holidays and he spends it on the mercenary arc, training arc, and she comes to look up to him. And then she acts all angry when he says, "Oh, that means you were worried about me."
Yeah,
And
his
yeah, the fact that she gets
yeah.
gets angry, it is anime. So the fact that she gets angry means that she likes him. So
That's
yeah,
true. Okay, yeah, yeah. I guess so. I guess on some level she does care, but also she can't be shown. She can't be seen to care too much because she's his sister at the end of the day. Anyway,
yeah, and I guess
um,
another thing that we didn't mention is that if you shout in VR, you also shout in real life. Apparently,
yes, I bet that's like a really funny image. Like, being I can only imagine like what his mum's thinking. It's like I'm gonna
yeah. I guess. I mean,
I mean, if you're well, okay, so he's shouting, but everything he says must also be heard as well. Like everything. When we have the interaction with the goblin on the toilet. I mean, what does he sound like to his family? We can only imagine.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I
what,
don't know.
what the fuck is he doing?
You must have already seen those clips of people playing VR, and
Oh yeah, it's
punching
like
punching through their TVs, and like their dog their dog looking at them like they've gone insane.
yeah, yeah. Those are amazing, especially like people being fucked with when they're playing horror games is also like hilarious.
You know, like yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole Martin time thing kind of reminded me of those horror VR stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, it's something that could really have been played up as well in the show. Like you could you could have a hard cut to Martin like running around his room or something, or there's something like really stupid. Like like maybe he's like kissing a character, and then you like hard cut to him like kissing the air because but like his sister's also like watching because because she kind of happened to be walking into the room to check on him, and then she walks in and like wherever the fuck this is, that I mean, there's a lot of possibility, for those kind of like gags, like these like physical gags.
next slide, Kamui. So Kamui is the only guy who beat KQ, and he did it as a KQ, by which I mean the game. And he did it as a high schooler. He's the creator of the Oberdine walkthrough. Oberdine, I think, is the name of the map, the continent or world, whatever they're in.
Mm.
Reona calls him, I think, a Kusogaki. He, that he was a shitty kid. Um, his title was something along the lines of the eternally undefeated, which contrasts with uh, heroes titles, which are basically making fun of him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, his titles. I mean, I don't want to like critique the grammar on his titles, but
I think it
I
gets
think
I think it gets weirder because I think when in the subtitles, like first it says it in it translates the part which is in English because the titles are in English, okay.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
but then there's also an explanation in Japanese, which means like that you get the same thing twice, the same words twice, essentially. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's very weird. I wonder. I didn't watch the dub. I can only imagine. But
yeah, I think in the dubs they kind of cut out uh like
oh,
they didn't have the Lolita thing. They replaced it with something else, I think.
mm,
Um,
that's interesting.
yeah, it's Americans.
That was that was kind of one of the funnier joke is like like one of the like few genuinely good things he does in the entire show has to be undercut by basically being oh yeah, yes, so you were Sailor's Girl because you're a pervert, basically. It had to be like finally undercut
Yeah,
by this system, but yeah, obviously they would. I don't know. I
yeah,
can understand why they would go for it, but also they're cowards for not.
yeah. They're cowards. They're cowards. Yeah,
They're cowards.
and they haven't got the guts. So also anything wrong that Reona does, if it benefits uh, hero, it gets pinned on him on the tag, uh, on the pendant as a title. Um, like yeah, I can't remember any examples now, but there are a few. So he Kamui works at the Tokyo Metropolitan Local Government basically after graduating from full dive. Um, and yeah, then I go into a little rant about how if he has done the Oberdine walkthroughs, then that means he has must have played the games a lot of times, um, and things should have just repeated themselves. Um, yeah, and um, at one point, Yuki says that he feels like Kamo is telling him, like through the walkthroughs, like, "Can you do it? I did it. Now it's your turn, not return. I know why I don't return. Now it's your turn." Um, so yeah, um, So I think that becomes also another reason for him wanting to. Uh, Kamui becomes another reason for why he wants to complete the game because it has been done. So that means it can be done. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, and so it's some hope, vague hope at the end of of the tunnel, I guess. Um, and Kamui also says that a failure who can't overcome this about the training arc will never succeed in life, and that brings it back to the theme of you need to get better better at life in order to get better at the game, kind of thing. I kind of that's basically the conceit of the show, but and I'm not sure whether I really like it that much. Um, stuff which is about anime which is about quote unquote graduating from games because um, like it, getting good at video games will not make you good at life in the normal world. So, and if it did, then it would make the game just a stepping stone, training wheels, school of life sort of thing. But that kind of message is kind of unappealing to both the addiction is great crowd and also the game addiction is evil crowd. So, you know, um,
yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, whether it works conventionally or not is another thing. But I kind of do like the concept. And that's is it possible to basically create a immersive experience that positively impacts someone or like someone's psyche in such a way that like it causes them to give up playing that game and get better at real life, like is that possible?
I don't think it is,
you know
but yeah, but yeah,
I think how hard can you sign up someone into overcoming their gaming addiction? Is it possible?
yeah. I mean, it's
Can it be done?
I,
Can it be done?
I mean, it's the same thing with anime, which tell you that like you shouldn't watch anime, you should go get a life. At that point, like what's it's kind of undercutting itself. I don't know. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah. I think the mistake is sort of like denying the whole thing, like rather than be like, oh hey, like because I mean, it's it gets done really well. I mean, like my mind goes to like let's say like Emi's roots in like Kazuo Shoujo, right? Where like a lot of people actually did end up like um doing something physical in their real lives because the game itself extolled the virtues of like getting physical exercise, right? But it didn't mean they weren't playing visual novels afterwards, right? So it's like I think you can write good propaganda basically to make people improve themselves in like a small way. But like when he talk about, oh yeah, like you shouldn't watch anime, also continue watching your anime, or like you shouldn't play video games. Therefore, you should play this video game because it will stop you from playing video game. And it's like self defeating. It doesn't make any sense. Um,
yeah, because I think like you can also look at it the other way from the perspective of those who are like totally addicted to video games and like but they don't really give a shit about real life anyway. This wouldn't appeal to them either, I think. Yeah,
yeah, no. Unless I mean, unless you made all video games like terrible to play,
yeah,
you took it, you took away the addictive aspect of video games, and you were just left with like
yeah, exactly,
this
like
or something.
real life, basically. Like like
Yeah, like we'll
if you
just
go in
like,
so much into realism at the end of the day, like you're back to square one. Um, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
okay. Um, but at the same time, I think it's an but at the same time, I don't think that we can definitively say whether it's possible or not because we don't have realistic VR. So I think it's just sci-fi, so you you can't really.
Holy shit! Oh God, we're only halfway through this presentation. I'm
Um,
sure.
we have talked. We have talked. I think it'll go fast because we have already talked a lot about a lot of
Yeah,
this.
yeah, we've already covered most of the yeah,
So
most of the topics.
yeah. So the next one is about Granada, Cathy, and mercenary training arc. So yeah, basically, after the first goblin attack, um, Hero Hero thinks that you know Tesla, the leader of the city guards, congratulates him for saving a little girl and invites him to join the mercenaries as a mercenary to the for the city guards to mount a defense because the goblins are going to come again, and he thinks it's going to be like it's what was the term, a flag, an event flag or something, a classic RPG event flag, but it
Yes, yeah.
yeah. Reona tells him to look at not to just accept it, to look at the guide, but he just ignores that. And then he looks at the guide and he realizes that this is worst possible uh, thing that he could have done as usual. Um, so um, so so the training arc lasts for 5 days. What did you think of the training arc, Taranai?
It wasn't like I don't know, like it had some good moments. Obviously, he gets bullied again by two characters like in real life, which kind of causes despair. It causes him to despair, and it's the thing that I think actually almost makes him quit the game is this like terrible like treatment in the game. Does he go to I think it's around this point. Um, he may go and I think he tried to refund the game or like give the game back to Riona for free. Um,
I think that was after the torture, like when like he rage
or is it
quits.
after
Yeah,
torture?
when he rage quits,
Oh, okay.
when after his
Yeah, I
yeah
need to.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah.
But
Any.
by this time it's all like what syndrome is it? Stockholm syndrome, right? By this
It's
point.
Stockholm syndrome. Yeah.
um,
Um, Cancer survival. No versus. Yeah. And then. But yeah. What was I? Oh yeah. So and then of course there's the oh god, the kind of like the leader of the training. I forget his like actual title and name,
I think it was
but
Amos or something. Uh,
Amos.
yeah.
Let's just call him Amos. Why not? But he's also like pretty bad. Like I didn't think he was that bad, but he wasn't great. He basically just tells like Hero he's useless. He should probably like look to leaving, which isn't exactly the worst advice. Um, given what we know happens next, but he doesn't. He sticks. He sort of sticks with it. And there's also yet another kind of there's also this like cute like mercenary girl.
Called
She's
Cathy.
also there like
Cathy.
yeah, Kathy. Um, um, she saw Hero save the girl, and unlike the rest of the game, she she kind of sees this as like a good thing in his character. So she likes Hero. She has a good relationship with him, though she ends up getting peer pressured after after Hero basically just looks pathetic after he gets like beaten up over and over again. There's also a kind of like bully in the like training camp as well, and he you have the bully, and you also have like the little like snake, with like the like little like psychic character as well.
Yeah,
Um,
Palu, the minion, Granada's minion, basically.
yes, Palu. So like Palu is this like absolute like like little minion, but like even the like little minion is able to beat the crap out of a hero, which is tragic. Um,
Yeah, I mean, like you said that. I mean, uh, a lot of the people in the forums on Mal were also saying like, I can't watch this shit anymore. So it's not just hard for Hero apparently.
yeah,
Some, yeah,
exactly.
people just quit watching.
Many hero fans were also poorly treated that day, and also yes,
Yeah.
it was very traumatic for everyone involved. But
So, but like
yeah, I think this is probably like the lowest point in the whole show, to be honest, where like Kathy, even Kathy abandons him, and he's being bullied so badly, and it's just like his real life, and he starts crying as well.
yeah, in the game, yeah,
It's really bad. It's really bad. Um, yeah, oh yeah, I should really read these slides anyway. Um, some sort of work experience, yeah. Example takes consultation of this. Oh yeah, yeah. And then so Hero just feels really bad, and so he goes to the consultation office, um, who do basically nothing.
yeah. I wondered whether like this was based on, this was some light satire basically, because
Yeah, yeah, well,
even in
of
real
course,
life,
yeah,
yeah,
of course it was.
like, and
Even in the fantasy world, the the like consultants
they don't,
isn't really doing their job.
yeah, they're just there to cover the company's ass basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Um,
um,
but eventually, yeah. I mean, we'll get to it now. Where Tesla eventually does stick up for Hero, and he launches a quote unquote investigation, I guess you could say. Um, but yeah, no, I think that happens after the mishaps caused by
Leona.
yeah, Riona. So
So yeah, basically, Leona decides that this isn't going right, and during the last day, the fifth day, or rather the before going to bed on the fourth night, she tells Hero that she's going to show the holy power of a fairy, and
yeah,
yeah, and basically, because she's a fairy, nobody, like, NPCs can't see her. Only player characters can see her, and which means that she can mess around, but she didn't want to do it because I don't know, it ruins the game's realism or something, and or maybe his future, husband, like, needs to be able to beat the game by himself or something. But she decides to help him. Um, and by the way, the reason why Hero goes to the consultation office and also to the church, where a nun just baths him with cold water, holy water, is because that was also advice from Reona, and Hero just complains that Reona is useless. So anyway, Reona, what does Reona do? She basically puts uh, Granada. Granada is one of the. So there are three mercenaries who have also come to train with the city guard, and so one of them is Hero obviously, and the other two are Granada and his minion Palu. Uh, Granada is sort of the stronger one. Anyway, I don't. There's no need to explain all this, but anyway, uh, basically, Reona uses her poltergeist looking powers to, because she can move their Granada stuff, and stuff like the panties of the old nurse, um, of an old
yeah,
nurse
yeah, yeah.
into Granada. Yeah.
She frames him for all kinds of things, and finally, the whole like creep kind of turns on the Granada.
And then
Um,
she also forges a letter uh, written by
mm,
Palu, uh, accusing um, Amos, the trainer who didn't do shit.
yeah,
Um,
Amos.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. But so I don't know. But then Hiro complains about that as well. Like, I don't think he shouldn't have complained that much. Like, he's like, this is too much. Um, yeah, because like she does things like throwing the boots which Granada's grandmother gave him into a cess pit basically. Uh, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Uh, I thought it was kind of realistic, the bullying in the
Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
the training arc. Next we
Yeah,
have
because like you have like the like alpha, and then you have the like then like you have the hanger on, but like you know that when the big guy goes, the whole thing will fall apart. But yeah,
yeah. So next we have Tesla. Uh, Thundering Tesla, quote unquote. So his special move is lightning extreme. His super special move is lightning extreme despair. But he also has an ultimate technique called lightning extreme ultima. And the only difference between these moves is that I guess he moves faster or something. Uh, how long did it take you to figure out that Tesla is no good? Uh, Fahrenheit. Did you see the twist?
um, not really. I mean, it was kind of like I think like when they had like the caged goblins, I was like, there's probably something like a bit weird going on here. Like, why does he have these like goblins in cages? And the fact that they're not like adults either. It's like, okay, so he's like kidnapped like child goblins, and he's using them to like bait them out. It was so yeah, but the like I think that's kind of fair enough, but is a bit dodgy. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really know it. I didn't see it coming until like it was actually like revealed.
Yeah, me too.
Because there wasn't really anything to actually hint. I mean, like there
I,
was some foreshadowing, but
yeah,
it
I
wasn't
think
real foreshadowing.
I saw one comment. Yeah, I mean, like there were people, or rather, there was the sound of the goblins,
Yeah,
growling
which
in the
I
tunnel
mean, which could be anything.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
yes, on the one hand, it is foreshadowing of some sort, but it's
yeah,
not
this
exactly
specifically.
like it's not like a grandmaster level
Yeah,
storytelling.
yeah, and but there was one person I saw in the forums who predicted it a few episodes earlier,
Uh,
and what he said was when Tesla was first introduced, like when Tesla um, saved Hero from the torture. Uh,
yeah,
there was one person who said that there's no way that Tesla is any good. Like all the NPCs in this anime are evil shit. So you know,
he's too forgiving. Like I guess like in a sense, it's if I mean I've already explained the reasons why Tesla sort of gets some hero exonerated of his crimes, and it's for these like stupid reasons. But it's almost as if he's kind of setting Hero up for a bigger failure. In 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 hindsight, of course. But
so
yeah, interesting to think about. But yeah,
yeah. So so Reona liked him, but because she has bad taste in men, just like she liked Kamui, and just like I don't think she likes Hiro, to be honest. But yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because she does flirt with
Oh,
him,
the boob
and
boop.
she does,
Yeah, that
yeah,
maybe by that point.
and she does, and she does kind of like tease him. It's like, oh, do you want me to sleep in the same bed as you? You know, but she doesn't really express much like romantic interest in Hero, other than outside of this, he's kind of this tall to her. Um, but yeah, yeah, and she does. I think no, I think she does give him.
The console for free, I
It
think.
was yeah, or at a large discount or something. I can't remember.
I think she just she at the end she says that she's going to rent it to him for free, something.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's fair enough.
just
So maybe
let him
so
borrow.
maybe initially she's using him, and she certainly does is manipulating him. But maybe over the course, over the passing of time, maybe she just like ends up liking him like genuinely. But you can never really be sure. But I think the of course the boop boop that was that that came free. She also did it when he was unconscious. So she didn't have to do it. Is the thing, which I think is telling.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe
Because he doesn't know, so yeah. So she wouldn't be able
anyway.
to manipulate him like that. So yeah,
And there's
we are guessing what's going on in Ariona's big brain. So
exactly. Oh
final
man.
thoughts on the ending. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. The adaptation,
Um.
yeah. The adaptation itself is very unartistic, like minimum effort. Uh, yeah, but there's nothing obviously wrong with it. Like I don't see bad CGI or anything, like that
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah, it's just kind of.
by the books.
Yeah,
I think
there's
that's fair.
nothing. I mean, most of the animation was like most of the differentiated character animation was dedicated to Riona, for obvious reasons. But yeah,
Yeah, I did. I thought that Riona looked all right, like in the real world, but in the game world, she didn't look that attractive.
I think the costume is a bit much.
Yeah. So, um, so
But I think that's kind of the point as well. Like, it's supposed to be, yeah,
so I do see a good story in it. Unfortunately, the novel will never get translated, and there are only 4 volumes out. Two of them at uh, have been adapted into this anime, and the author is what do you say, missing in action. There's no updates about him in general. So
MIA.
yeah, or
Such
AWOL.
holy, this is
So
terrifying. Oh my god, this is. I'm posting the image now. Sorry, guys. This is this is going to be the thumbnail, by the way.
let's have a look. Oh dear, anime should just stay anime, man. Is this a
Actually, no.
cosplay or is this AI? I can't say.
It's it's uncanny, isn't it? I think it's like a statue, no, not a statue, like a mannequin, maybe like someone's dressed up. I'll try and. Or is that a real person? Holy shit!
With enough Photoshop, anything can be real. So,
No,
um,
yeah, I think this might be a real woman,
which
but obviously, which one? Um, I mean, this page is in Spanish, and hold on. Four die fan made cosplay. Yeah, no, this is a real person. There are just wearing so much makeup they look like a mannequin. Anyway, that's terror. Anyway, yeah, that's scary.
so do, do you want me to continue or do you want to jump in.
Final thoughts. 7.5 out of 10. I think that's generous. I think 7.5 out of 10 is very generous. I think if the ending was a bit better, or if the story was a bit more like coherent and the characters were less kind of one note, it maybe it would have been a higher star. I mean, even the world building itself in the real life stuff was good, but everything in the video game was just kind of an absolute disaster. It was an absolute disaster zone. I would give this a 6, to be honest, or like a 5 or 6. I mean, it wasn't. It was entertaining enough. It was. I mean, a certain property of kind of a mediocre show is that it's very watchable. There isn't really much pressure to pick up on absolutely every single detail. And it's they're generally quite easy to watch. I totally understand why people watch them because they're kind of cozy. I mean, even even if like bad things are happening to the character, or like the character is maybe like flawed, like deeply flawed, and the final like conceit of the show is also flawed. It's also just kind of cozy in a strange way. It's kind of it's like low intensity entertainment that you don't really have to think about too much. So for that reason, it's good. For it's very good casual viewing. I'd say, but in terms of a serious
I mean, do you feel
piece of
like
art,
it will be better if it wasn't a comedy, basically?
no, I think it was better because it was. I think all the best parts came from the comedy. To be honest, I don't think it would have benefited from being totally 100% serious at all.
So, unlike Tsuishi's other anime adaptations, Cautious Hero, uh, which is pretty nice, and in some ways it's better than this because it's it's more of a complete, feels more like a complete story. I mean, this is also kind of a complete arc. Like it's them up to the point where they leave the Ted. But
Yeah,
yeah. But anyway, but that one is more of a self because this feels more like a prologue. Uh, let's put it that way. So what I liked about the show was how Yuki gradually starts to like the shit game. Um, I didn't really care about for the get good at game, get good at life message thing. Um, okay, I like that we also saw like they weren't just it wasn't just a game. We also saw stuff from his real life as well. Um, yeah, that's about it. The final question is: would you play KQ Fahrenheit?
no.
Why not?
Because it's like VR, and it's expensive, and it seems like more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, and
And if I get killed, that's like thousands of pounds gone, in an instant.
yeah, also I think there's a Q&A which we'll look at next, where the author was asked uh, if he would have played in the same way as the protagonist, and he replies that no, he would have been more like the cautious hero, his other series, where like
Mm,
the protagonist is always cautious, basically. He he prepares
interesting.
prepares everything, and
Yeah, yeah.
that one is also a comedy.
I get,
So
I guess that's why it's called cautious here. Anyway,
yes,
yeah. Final question: would you play KO? Yes. Uh,
I think
well, I mean,
yeah, good.
yes. Q. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Q&A. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
On this topic, I have some reviews to read you.
okay. About what?
My anime list has some excellent user reviews. I mean, I'll tell you the stats, the stat drill down on my anime lists in regards to this anime. 76% recommended the show. 35 people were mixed, and 53 people did not recommend it. So not exactly a great breakdown if you think about it.
Yeah,
Less than half of anyone who cared to write a review actually recommend this show.
I don't.
um,
Yeah, I mean it's Mal. They have shit taste. That's a rule. Uh, yeah.
I'm gonna try and find a review that is not not a small what's the word no,
Paragraph. I don't know. Extract.
like the whole thing, an essay, a whole essay.
Oh, I see.
Um, okay. If anyone wants to waste a good 2 to 3 hours, then go and stand against the wall and stare at it for 1 to 2 hours. I promise you, it'll be more fun than this. Usually, if an anime lacks something like story slash fun, character slash rules, then one covers the other. But in this crap, it doesn't happen at all. First starts with world builds. It's what you expect from low level trash isekai, boring and dull in every way. Characters are the worst thing in this anime. From protagonist to side character, all pretty much unlikable. I'm sure even if everyone tried to like one, they just have to straight up lie about it, trust me. This anime got my blood boils, so let's cut this short and just don't waste your time on this. 2 out of 10. Okay,
Okay.
and you know what, Max Payne, Bad Han, you're correct because everyone's experience is their experience. You know,
Okay.
your truth is your truth.
Yeah, I think they got filtered, but okay. So
No, they got I mean, okay, yes, they did get filtered by a show. I guess you could say you got
so
filtered.
yeah. So let's
Tellerans. No, we've got another one from here from Tellerans. It's another 2-star review. It starts with I can't continue this story. It's meant to be comedic, but all of its jokes just fall flat. I didn't laugh once, even internally. The characters are bland. The
the thing
backstory is
is
non-existent.
like you
The
can't
art looks
you can't
washed out and
you can't
lifeless. Washed out and lifeless. Washed out and
okay
lifeless. You know,
you
do
you you
you
you,
understand?
you can't
There's
take
nothing special about the sounds.
yeah,
The story makes no sense when you consider all the facts. And the
like
final nail in the coffin, the main character is one of the worst I've ever seen in this genre in a very long
like
time.
you
The
can't
ultimate issue. Yeah, go on,
yeah I
sorry.
mean I think that there are all people who are pissed off it's not SAO or something and
The
also
ultimate issue I have with this series is the MC. He is entirely unlikable, has no redeeming qualities, and the plot conveniently ignores key aspects of his backstory for the sake of moving forward. For example, he is just awful in this game, never mind the fact that he is a hardcore player of these types of games and well versed in what they might entail. Nope. The basic premise of what you do matters is just entirely out of his
I mean
grasp.
I don't
He
think
has no common
I don't
sense, is
think
easily
I
manipulated,
don't
and he
think
has
he's good
no
at the game so
introspective abilities to learn from his mistakes.
okay
He is not altruistic at
yeah I
all
need to finish
and
the
is a
call so
complete
let's I need to go to the
narcissist.
slides so yeah yeah but
The only redeeming qualities of this series and why I don't give it a 1 is found in the character designs of some of the key characters in the story. Oh yeah, Matt, I bet you do. No, it's got the colour schemes and outfits are unique enough to be interesting, but that's about it. In short, don't waste your time unless you have time to kill. It's not worth taking a full dive into this one.
oh dear.
Breeze rating 2.
Okay,
I
so
like that one. Thank you, Teleran, for your opinion.
yeah, I mean, I bet, yeah, you can't take mal reviews at face value. You need to look at you need to go to their mal
What's
page and then judge them for their taste.
okay? Let's have a look at. Okay, well, let's have a look at Teleran's. No. There seem to be kind of. I mean, what's this? Elsan where? Interesting. It looks like a bunch of overweight elves. Interesting. That's an interesting choice. Did they recommend this one? I definitely need to run a review for that one. Let's see what is.
Anyway, can
Let me
move
just.
on because I need to make another call.
He's made three reviews.
So
I mean, he's only like reviewed three shows, so
no,
obviously
you
like
need to look at
this
the
really must have
at the list
this
at the
this really must have
yeah.
what at his entire list. Okay, okay. Anime list.
You know, it's public for a reason. You know,
Mm,
I
mm,
don't think you can make it private on my anime list at least.
interesting. This is why I'm not on my anime list.
You don't want to be judged.
I don't want to be judged for the degenerate shit I watch. Um, interesting. Do you love your mum and her two multi-target attacks? Do you love your mum on the shore?
What's the rating?
Interesting. Apparently he dropped this one after 6 episodes, which is
Look at his
sad.
top anime. That's what
Gate is his top.
Gate.
Um,
Gate. I mean, do you mean the one where the Japanese army goes to the to fantasy world? I think it's probably
I
that.
think so. Yeah, that's not too bad. Anyway, I'm not gonna like bully people.
So
Anyway,
yeah. So
it's fine. This guy, um, what's he called? I forgot his name already. Jesus Christ. Teleran did nothing wrong. He just didn't like the show.
yeah.
I mean, in a sense, like I read a lot of the negative reviews, and I would agree with a lot of the stuff they said. But I think there is a tendency to kind of gravitate toward extremes, right? Like like the MC wasn't that bad. He was just a little bit um he's just like it's true that he's like pathetic, but in the context of the show, it does make sense, right? Anyway, all right, let's move on.
So there was a Q&A on Reddit on the
Yeah.
Funimation Reddit with the author. There were he didn't really answer that many questions, and I picked a few for us to look at, and then end the show presentation, whatever.
Mm.
So the question is: big fan of Cautious Hero. What motivated the idea of a novel about an intentionally bad MMORPG? Also, who is best girl? The Q&A, by the way, was in English. Yeah. So somebody must have translated the questions for him and the answers. So Tsuishi says, as you know, there are many anime that feature full dive style immersion. In the world of full dive, this whole genre of MMORPG and their popularity has dwindled. Which, I mean, it's kind of real of the real world too. MMORPGs are kind of, no, they're not that popular anymore. So
Yeah, yeah. The like peak of WoW is behind us. Mm.
the era of full dive MMOR, I think it's because, at least from what I've heard, it's because like it used to be like going online and going into a game was more like going into a different world. Like you wouldn't meet the people. Whereas now it's more like when you log on online, it's all about politics, like real world stuff. So it's not really, it doesn't really feel like another world. So I think that's what
Yeah,
has kind of broken
yeah, that's
the
true.
immersion. And like
Yeah, I
if
mean,
if you know
yeah,
if you knew someone from a game, like you would only probably only know them from there and be able to talk them through the game, talk to talk to them and interact with them through the game. Whereas now, like if you meet someone in an MMORPG, you just get their Twitter or whatever, and then um or Discord or whatever, and you talk over there rather than through the game. Sorry, what were you going to say?
yeah. I mean, like so many friendships were made on like World of Warcraft. But yeah, like as you were saying, like they were literally made on World of Warcraft. Like people playing World of Warcraft, it wasn't like elsewhere. Like you didn't get because like you didn't have the like practicality, right, of like something like Discord where you can just get someone's like well like most people who play video games, especially like MMOs, probably have Discord. So that's just kind of how it is. Like you basically just hop on Discord, and
Yeah,
it's a bit different.
and also there's like everything has been about these games has been already cracked. So like
Yeah, yeah,
you don't need to
yeah.
ask anything. You don't need to ask anything from like the protagonist. He has to go ask help from Ginji or whatever or Reona, and has to talk with other players. There's no need for that. You just go on a guide, and the guide will tell you everything. Uh, and
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and they you know the guide is not going to be cryptic like Kamui or whatever. So or insult you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, also like World of Warcraft when it first came out was like minds bending. Its scale, all the things you could do in the game. The kind of like world building, the plots and setting. It was like really great. I mean, this is like people still go back and play like old school
Yeah,
World
yeah.
of
And
Warcraft.
another thing
Um,
is that
but
you
but yeah, like something like World of Warcraft in the MMO sphere hasn't been released in a very long time. I mean,
and
there's
I don't think it would
there's been
succeed either, to be honest, because um like if you look at all the MMOs, they were a lot more harder. Just like Full Dive is harder than the easy games uh, which Hero was playing before Full Dive, because that's what people want. And World of Warcraft itself was easier than the games which came earlier and the multi-user dungeons. So I like there is no appetite for a game, an MMO which is hard. People who play MMOs now just follow a guide and just. But I don't know. At the same time, there are still hard games which get popular like Elden Ring and whatnot. So who knows? Um,
yeah. I mean, well, Elden Ring is a kind of there's a lot of brand loyalty when it comes to From Software for good reason in my opinion. But Elden Ring isn't a MMO.
MMO anyway. Yeah, yeah.
But there's some multiplayer aspects to that game, but it's not like it's intended to be a single player experience, right? But it's like these games are really expensive to make though as well. I mean, if you're making an MMO in current year, it's going to be just incredibly expensive, right? I mean, it certainly was cheaper. Like I imagine, think about RuneScape. Probably like three people made RuneScape in their
Two
shed or
brothers.
something.
Two brothers.
Yeah,
Two
yeah,
English. Two Englishmen.
imagine trying to deploy a MMO now. Like, how expensive is it going to be?
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could mods multi-user dungeons. Their code bases are all free, and
Yeah, that's true.
but no, it would be hard to find people to play it though because it's
Yeah, yeah,
text based.
this is the problem. Yeah, like it wouldn't be expensive, but making one
It
that
wouldn't be
people
an
actually
MMO.
play would be.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
like
but making an MMO that people actually play would be expensive, right? So like there's this massive barrier, and then you have to be creative to come up with a story,
and it
and then
also I don't
kind of keep working on it like consistently, and
yeah
like
for many
because
years yeah.
World of Warcraft doesn't end. Like it can't end by design, right? So you have to, and it would just take a lot. Whereas, if you're like a games designer, why don't you just tailor make a single player experience with some limited multiplayer? Like maybe if you really want to make an RPG, you make something like Morrowind or something, where it's mostly about the single, where
I
it
mean
is just a single player game. But
when
I mean,
the Oculus Quest came out first, the VR headset, a lot of people hoped for who were into MMORPGs and also who were fans of anime like Sword Art Online and whatnot,
yeah,
that there would be a game um, like World of Warcraft, but in VR, but that didn't really work out. I I think the technology is not. I mean, not there. I mean, not because it's not full dive, but even uh, yeah, even without that. But anyway,
Yeah, I mean, like VR is kind of like a meme. Unfortunately,
yeah,
not that many people. I mean, people do play VR games, but not that many people play VR games. And
and the games which are popular are like um, Beats Saber, whatever it's called. Um,
yeah, I think like the VR headset is kind of like the Wii, like the equivalent in a sense. It's just kind of like a more physical. It's not really serious as I think people wanted it to be.
there was a good game made by Valve called Half-Life Alyx, I think, a few
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
another thing to keep an eye out on
But I
is
mean, like even sort of like Half Life Alex. I mean, Half Life Alex just wasn't really comparable, in my opinion, to like Half Life Two. For
yeah, yeah.
really,
So
it was kind of like a.
like a demo.
I think Valve were very conscious that they couldn't make Half Life Three, and they certainly could not make it for VR because that it just would have been a disaster. So we want to make a Half Life
I
game
think
again, but
I, th- I believe that
we'll just make it
I've
gimmicky in
heard
this
some
way.
news that Valve is working again on a VR headset again. Um,
Yeah,
most of
yeah.
the headset out there, I think, run on Android. And another thing to keep an eye out on is Project Aincrad, which is a bunch of people trying to recreate Sword Art Online on VR chat. So because VR chat doesn't, it's not really a
Mm,
game. Like there's no stats
no.
or anything. So that what they're trying to do is to add stats and recreate the environment and whatnot.
Yeah,
Uh,
this might be how it's done. Like maybe because with the VR chat you kind of have you have the open forum and all the all the absolute degeneracy.
and
But the thing about VR chat is it kind of has the player base, right, and it has the social aspect, and people are willing to dedicate a lot of time to VR chat, especially with like the character models and stuff. So if you attached a game to that and people took to it, then that might be the way into a kind of fully immersive VR experience. VR role playing experience.
there's also one Chinese guy um, who is making a game. I think it's called Subspace something. But if you look up um, Sword Art Online in VR or whatever, it will come up, and it looks pretty good. But the only thing that you can do in it though, and it's single play as well, and the only thing that you can do is um, fight against a single mob, and you can play either in and it's mobs from characters from Sword Art Online, and it looks pretty good. You can play in AR or
Mm,
VR, either of them.
mm.
Uh, yeah. Anyway, where was I? So the era of full dive MMORPG is old news, and nobody plays this. Nobody's playing this anymore. That's the whole idea of this kusoge genre. Kusoge means shit game. There's a word for it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
this is
Kuso,
yeah, kuso means
kuso,
shit. And for some reason
kuso.
it's there are like uncensored in anime and stuff. I think they use
Okay,
it.
kuso.
It's there in Welcome to the NHK. They talk about kusoge. So this is something I haven't seen
Okay, kuso desu.
authors doing.
Okay, kuso desu.
So
Okay, kuso desu.
additionally,
Right.
we have YouTube and streaming services nowadays, so we can watch others playing kusoge, and it's entertaining to watch. I may not be pleasant for the player, but looking in from the outside, it is enjoyable. It's another reason I chose this kusuke style. So basically, I don't know, like a PewDiePie Let's Play. As for best girl, I would say Alicia for sure. Although she's an NPC in the story, blah blah blah.
Interesting. Who is best girl for you? I'm curious
Probably
because like I
The
would
sister
I would say
probably.
Alicia. I would say Alicia is the coward's choice. Although of course you go for the sister because of course you have. I
Yeah,
would honestly. I have
uh,
to be.
Reona, don't
I have
forget.
to be. I have to be that guy. I'm sorry, but uh,
Oh,
how how are
Misa,
they described? Um,
SOH, I don't know.
I have to go with Riona because for me, the Holstein cow is a big plus,
I see.
and she's also real as well, which is anyway, and she's also real, which
Yeah,
is also
I
maybe
real. Yeah, yeah. She's not 2D. Um, I mean,
obviously she's. I mean, well, wait a
that's
minute.
picture
I
of
mean,
her,
she's
right?
not real, but
You know, you sent me a picture
sorry.
of her, so yeah, she's real, all right. On
This
Discord,
is
yeah.
this is gonna be the thumbnail. This is her in real life. This is my girlfriend.
So,
She
um,
tells me
ne-
she
ne-
was. Yeah, go on.
next question. Big fan of Cautious Hero. What motivated the idea of a novel about an internet? Uh, oh, have you already read that one? Um, I think. I feel that like there's a lot of heart in Full Dive. Did you draw an inspiration for it from your own childhood? uh, so I will say that I haven't exactly been nearly stabbed to death by a best friend, but the story does take loose references and inspiration from my experiences. From the beginning, with Arisha's introduction, you know how Hira is trying to run away from his problems in that scene. The lesson is that if he hadn't run away from his problems, maybe things wouldn't have turned out that way. Uh, yeah. So he says maybe they're inspired, but he doesn't go into any specifics. How is working as an isekai creator? Is it easy to create the new world rules and contrast them to our world? The basic approach I take is looking at things that already exist, like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, and using those as you see, those are RPGs, not MMORPGs, and using those as sort of general foundation that I add my own coloring and flavoring to. For example, comedy is a flavoring. For Cautious Hero and Full Dive, comedy is an ingredient I put in along the duality between comedy and seriousness. Uh, Nothing there to comment on. Do you have any comments?
Not really.
Okay, next one.
I
So, does Kibame Quest boost martial arts or athletic ability and turn them into a power or skill? Like being good at running turns into super speed? In Kibame Quest, there isn't much in terms of numerical value stats. It's really just real life physical abilities being reflected in the game. However, that's not all there is to it. There's an additional element that I won't share since it's a spoiler, but you'll find out soon. So basically, the trick. Uh, it didn't really make much sense, but whatever. Yeah. Uh,
Anime is real life. That's the trick.
yeah, that's basically the trick. When writing, do you have a firm idea of the story you want to tell from the start, or does the direction of the story change as you write? In terms of direction, I would say that 80 to 90% of the storyline is set in stone, or at least I try to set it at the start before writing it all out. The other 10 to 20% varies with different character behavior or interactions that may need a little adjustment based on the surrounding situations. That's where I would give that leeway. Nothing major though. I wouldn't change the end sequence of a story or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I think I would agree with him because most of the stories which I have tried to write right now have been basically I just end up getting stuck because I don't know how to continue it. So now the story that I'm
Yeah,
writing,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's the same for me. It's like you kind of go in with a idea, then when that idea is exhausted, you don't really know kind of where to take it.
yeah,
Which is why like short stories is like I like good. I like writing short stories over very
yeah,
long like novels. I mean, I tried. Oh god, I tried writing a novel for like 4 years. Um, but I ended up basically rewriting the opening like three different times. So I basically have like 50,000 words but those 50,000 words make up like 3 separate openings to the same story. But like, I would always get to a certain point where it's like, yeah, I'm out, guys. Sorry. But yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah,
Pretty much that's what I
yeah. Yeah, it's important to have everything decided before starting to write because it's easier to edit the outline than it is to change something in the actual story. So that's what I'm trying to do. Not making a lot of progress, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess because that like apparently there are like two main types of writers. Like you have the planner, and then you have the like discovery writer, who's able to basically make shit up as they go along. I've never really been that great at it.
Yeah, same here. I realized that I'm not that last year, basically. So yeah, next in full dive, hero is subject to a lot of ridicule. It is unusual for a story to focus so much on this aspect for so long. What motivated you to create such a story? Actually, I was having a conversation with another viewer and I realized a lot of people have an emotional investment in Hero. It was surprising for me to hear because when I was writing the story, the comedy was coming from a very objective standpoint and I wasn't investing as much in the characters. It was more, how can I make my how can I make this funny from a third person POV? If I put myself in Hero's shoes, I definitely wouldn't want to be in those situations, and I don't think I could even laugh in those scenarios. I think the ideal mindset to watch Full Dive is like watching The Simpsons. If you pretend you're watching The Simpsons, you won't be as emotionally hurt. Um, yeah, it's just like The Simpsons, I guess. Um, anything to say on that? Hello?
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I was eating.
That's all right. Okay,
um,
next.
yeah. No, not really.
The end.
Anyway, it's over.
So yeah, I think
I was surprised. I was surprised you prepared a full PowerPoint for this. I'm very pleasantly surprised. Though I need next time I need more pretty images to keep me where
entertained. I don't know.
and yeah, to keep me entertained. I need like flashing images. I need like Subway Surfers in the corner as well. If you could do that for next time, that'd be great.
We'll see. We'll see about the images. Yeah, I put this. I put this together yesterday. In an afternoon.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, there was one image of the author. But anyway, I'll stop the recording now.